Happy Thursday it is, everybody. Hope you're all experiencing a fantastic week. Got some news on some of the issues that I've been focusing on. Some good, some retreated today. So I'll share that with you. But this is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only, not only in mornings. And once again, we're coming to you after the close. Let me share our screen. This is the S&P. I'm not sure what happened with that big whiteboard, but I guess I accidentally touched it. Here's our heat map after the close today. NVIDIA is down big, down close to 3%. Microsoft was down earlier and bounced back. A lot of the software really did well today. Some of the other tech issues did well. Google and Meta were down big. Tesla was down big. They're having a big show out here with the new Cybertruck. I was out at Tesla earlier this morning, kind of looking and seeing as they were preparing everything. I'm going to head out there again tomorrow. So we'll see how things shake out there. Healthcare is up. Some energy is up and financials are up. So that's a lot of issues seem to be up, except for some of the key issues in tech. And AJ Monty, who somebody I follow, he predicted that NVIDIA would pull back when it reached its high. I believe it went to 490, that it would pull back to at least 470, pulled back to 468, I believe, today. So he hit that right on the nose. So let's continue. And once again, let me share the screen of our annuity. If you don't want to worry about the ups and downs of how things go, this is the ups and downs where it can be negative. You'll never lose money in an annuity. They'll always earn you money. And look, it beats index average annual growth by about 5%. Right now, they're giving a 40 to 45% bonus on your money, and that's how they give you a bonus. And then that's how they beat these averages. So what else about an annuity? You currently, I believe, can hold it for 7 years. And if you need money, you can take up to 10% of the money out per year if you need it. So that's the story with annuities. Let's move on to our share screen again. BLTE Bio. Look at that, rocking the Caspa, as they say. Huge volume. Yeah, I don't think that was your Aunt Edna buying here. I think that was professional money managers. I was glad that I kind of came in here because you can never tell when that day comes. But it is up big time. So let's go take a look at our market internals. First, let's take a look at this. This is daily average in the New York Stock Exchange. Advanced decline line is definitely improving as it moves up here. It had been going down for a long time. It's finally improving. Breadth in the market is moving beyond the top 7. Let's look at the NASDAQ Amex. This doesn't look quite as good. It definitely is improving, but it just doesn't look as good as the S&P 500. So let's move on from here. Let's go to some other internals. Let's look at the dollar. Wow, look at the dollar actually jumped today. Big gap up. Jumped above its 10-day moving average, up 0.72%. See what gold has done. Yeah, we got a big gap down. Well, not a big, but we did definitely have a gap down in gold today because of that. Silver. Silver is moving up. So here's what I suggest. If anybody bought into silver, now would be the time to take your 5 to 10% profit. And when it pulls back over here, buy back 7 to 12%. And then wait for the run up again. So that's my suggestion there. Here's our minor. Still can't find bottom. It sold off big in the morning and it tried to fight back. Southern Copper looks like it's trying to find a bottom. Freeport McMoran. We got a 3-day tight. It'd be nice if we could get a 1-week tight, 2-week tight on this one. Vale. Looks like we got a 1-week tight. After it peaked, gapped up a couple of days and pulled back. BHP. Kind of holding steady as it pulled back there. And Rio. Yeah, looks like it's trying to hold steady there. Got a big move up on 10-year yield today. You would think eventually it would bounce. Maybe there was some selling in the bonds today as it had the price of bonds had moved up. So some concern that the Fed may do something if the 10-year Treasury yield continues to back off. 20-year got a little gap up here. And let's see what we got. The VIX popped up yesterday. 3 days in a row. And a slight pullback today. S&P 500 holding steady. 0.4%. RSP looks a little better. So that market breadth is showing up over here. And QQQ, our NASDAQ, got a pullback, quarter pullback. It was off a little bit more earlier. The pauses here wouldn't be too bad of a deal. And our equal weights for breadth actually looks better. Up slightly. Small cap. Holding steady. Looks like it's trying to build a shelf. My new favorite pattern. Was down one day, so it's up a little day. So we'll just keep it in this shelf pattern that I've drawn here. Dow Jones moved up with Salesforce really helping it out today. It looks like it's breaking out. Pretty good volume. And let's take a look. We're going to take a look at some issues that popped up yesterday in addition to what I talked about earlier. Let's go to the news. Among biggest stories overnight was the DealBook conference interview last night with Elon Musk as he lashed out at an advertising boycott against the social media platform X on Wednesday, saying that it could kill the company. Somebody's going to blackmail me with advertising, block me with money. Go F yourself. Don't advertise, Musk said on an interview at the New York Times Deal Book Summit. What it's going to do is going to kill the company, and the whole world will know that the advertisers killed the company. That's his opinion. We want to add to it. It's colorful as usual. Chinese November NBS manufacturing PMI 49.4, producer manufacturing index 49.4 versus 49.7 consensus. Non-manufacturing PMI was 50.2 versus 50.6. Japan October retail sales dropped 1.6%. Eurozone inflation tumbled far more than expected this month as consumer price growth in the 20 nations sharing the euro currency dropped to 2.4% in November from 2.9% in October, well below expectations for 2.7% in nearly all items. The bull-bear spread in American Association of Individual Investors, AAII weekly survey was 29.2 versus 21.7 last week. Bulls rise to 48.8 from 45.3. Neutrals rise to 31.7 from 31.1, and bears fall to 19.6 from 23.6. So there you have it. Now we're going to take a look at BRP. That's the wrong ticker symbol, I think. This BRP, Canadian-based company that designs and manufactures power sports vehicles and marine products, and it is off almost 12%. EPS $3.06 versus estimate $3.07. Cuts full year 24 EPS view to Canadian dollar $11.10 to $11.35 from 12.25 to 12.75. Okay, on to Costco. November U.S. comp sales, excluding gas, FX plus 4.4%. Total November comp sales up 3.5%. And that was light. Got a slight rise in volume here. Got 5 below. Quarter 3 EPS 26 cents versus estimate 24 cents. And pretty good volume, but it was just in the middle here. Just holding at the 200-day moving average. PVH, quarter 3 EPS, $2.90 versus $2.74. And yes, that was well liked. And look at this spiking volume. Yes, your Aunt Edna did not move the stock this much this morning. I'm sorry. But on to Tesla. Tesla is set to start deliveries of its long-delayed Cybertruck, as I was explaining earlier. Elon Musk tempered expectations, citing problems in ramping up production, what he called a radical product. And there was a slight pullback from yesterday's attempted breakout of the little channel pattern. Victoria's Secret, quarter 3 adjusted EPS, 86-cent loss versus estimate 78-cent loss. And they must have managed expectations pretty good, because even though they missed their estimate, this thing is jumping big time, gapping up and closing on a high with high volume. Said sales trend in North America continued to improve as planned each month of quarter. Excited with early holiday sales trends in November in North America, both in stores and online, says November sales and margin result was best monthly performance in nearly 2 years. Guides quarter 4 net sales up 2 to 4% versus estimate of 2.73%. So maybe that's what moved people to buy. Energy, industrials, and materials. Ford now anticipates full year 2023 adjusted earnings before interest and taxes of $10 billion to 10.5 billion, and that was met with disdain. Huge volume here, definitely filled the gap from yesterday, and that is that. OPEC is discussing additional output cuts of about 1 million barrels a day as it seeks to overcome international disagreements and shore up flagging crude prices. Group leader Saudi Arabia have been pressing fellow alliance members to join in restraining supplies to save off renewed oil surplus next year. On to financials, DFS, Discover Financial Board authorized management to explore the sale of its student loans business, according to regulatory filing. People like that. There's a huge jump in volume, and we have jumped 2 days in a row over the kind of channel pattern that we had been experiencing. So that looks good. Kathy Wood is holding strong to her Robinhood shares, and Robinhood Markets said it would roll out brokerage services in the United Kingdom as part of its international expansion plan. It says British customers will have access to commission-free trading of more than 6,000 U.S. listed stocks and American depository receipts, or ADRs. And it didn't really move the market in Robinhood. Royal Bank of Canada, Q4 adjusted diluted EPS, $2.78 versus $2.78 Canadian. And I guess it met their expectation, and people were happy with that because it gapped up and finished at the top of its range today. On to healthcare, Novo Nordisk said it sued one compounding pharmacy and refiled a lawsuit against another after finding their products claiming to contain active ingredient for its in-demand weight loss drug Wegovy were impure, some by as much as 33%. And nothing new there. On to Salesforce, which we referred earlier, helping the Dow. And look at that volume. We got a blue dot here. Highest close of the relative strength line against the S&P 500 since the base. So it's pretty amazing. And Snowflake is really moving up. Gapped up yesterday, gapped up again today. Huge volume yesterday and even bigger volume today. Q3 adjusted EPS 27 cents versus estimate 16 cents. Maybe Snowflakes is getting ready for Christmas, and it's going to spread some cheer to all of its shareholders. Credo Technology, CRDO, Q2 EPS 1 cent versus estimate 0. They beat estimates, and that didn't make people happy. Revenues rose 25% year over year to 44 million versus estimate of 42.7 million. So maybe it was their look forward guidance. Encino, Q3 adjusted EPS 14 cents versus estimate 11 cents. And people were really not happy with that. Revenues 121.94 million versus estimate of 120.63 million. So Nutanix, I think we looked at this yesterday. Yeah, gapped up, closed on the lower 25%. EPS 29 cents versus 17 cents. Estimate revenues 511.1 million versus estimate 511 versus 501. On to Pinterest. Nice gap up, pretty good volume. Both upgraded to buy from hold at Jefferies. So Snap is the other one. When I was saying both, Snap gaps up. Social media on the view that both have catalysts for revenue growth upside in 2024. Pure Storage sells off big time, off 12%, was down even further earlier, fights back at the end. Adjusted EPS 50 cents versus estimate 40 cents on revenues of 762.8 million versus 763.36 million estimate. So maybe that's why it had sold off. Synopsis got a big move yesterday, and people taking their profits today. Gapped up, pulled back. EPS was $3.17 versus $3.04 on revenue of 1.599 billion. In China, Weibo announces 300 million convertible senior notes offering, gapping down on that news. Yeah, Weibo used to be pretty high up, I believe. Take a look at it on the monthly basis. Yeah, look at this. Was at one time $142 and now is 10. And finally, Zora, ZUO, quarter three adjusted EPS 9 cents versus 6 cents. Revenues of 109.8 million versus estimate of 108.7 million. People like that somewhat. Big selling came in at the end. You don't like to see that on a gap up 9%. So that's our news for the day. And now let's see where the big money was moving today. Look at that gap up. Wouldn't you like to have had that stock? In one day, it's up 83%. Volume increased 1,185%. And look at that nice volume. Up $13.29. Lowe's Corporation moves out of a slight pullback, huge volume, up 2.6%. We looked at Snow earlier. We looked at Salesforce. F5 provides optimization technology for delivery of network-based applications and performance. Massive volume over here. And it just continues its upward slope at a double bottom. Middle of the double bottom was 165.72 would be the buy point. VRT, Vertiv, digital infrastructure technology for data centers and communications networks. We had a flat base and another flat base over here. It looks like it's trying to break out with some pretty good volume, although it's only up 3.24%. Woodward, handsets, energy control optimization solutions for the aerospace and industrial markets, up 4.36%. Pretty good volume. Looks like a little double, not quite a double bottom over here, but it's a pretty interesting flat base. So we got 1, 2, 3 times the breakout. Actually, And it looks like the fourth one may work out. Everest Group, insurance and reinsurance products, US and international markets. Got some footprints of buying volume over here and huge move today, up 2%. Globe Life, life insurance, got a little bit of a pullback here, and now huge volume. Look at this low volume here. This is what you want to see. On moves up, you want big volume on the blue. Moves down, you want to have tiny volume on the red. That means not many financial professionals are selling. Once again, big blue. We had one day of big red over here, and the rest is pretty good. Low volume again over here, and massive volume over here on the breakout. And our final one on the buying. Roper Technologies manufactures energy systems controls, scientific industrial imaging software. Once again, we're in software. Yesterday, I pointed out software was one of the better ETFs. It's breaking out here. Let's take a look at some of these ETFs again. Look at that, it's breaking out. Technology doesn't look quite as good. Go back here. Look at that nice volume. We had some selling volume over here, but the price didn't go anywhere. So that's actually a positive. Equal number of buyers and sellers. Same over here. Didn't really go too far. Over here, stayed pretty tight. And now on the big volume, it just kind of breaks out of the buy area. That's what you want to see. See how the home builders did. Sold off initially with that yield going up, but fought back in the end. Real estate actually went up on a little lower volume. Our financials looks like they're breaking out today, but the volume isn't what you'd like to see. We had definitely a double bottom, and you had your chance to buy 35.16. Here we got metals and mining going into the breakout zone, up 1.56%. Volume is higher than yesterday, and it looks like the prior 2 days. So that's a good sign. We got semiconductors pulling back a little bit, a little over 1%. Not sure if I had the building materials. That's a pretty nice move. Pretty good volume. Yeah, I really like to look at that chart. Look at the relative strength, keeps climbing. Energy holding right there at the 200-day moving average. Oil prices did move down. They moved up yesterday and energy went down. And now they moved down today and energy mostly moves up. Pretty interesting. And what else we want to look at? I guess that's all we'll look at there. So for education and kind of a look back, pull this back again. So I'm just looking at a couple of things to share with you guys. And people have been pounding on NVIDIA, but they do have some potential pitfalls ahead of them. AMD is ramping up, Intel as well, and the clamp on the Chinese chips, I think, are all beginning to weigh on some of the investors who are taking their profits right now. A lot of people are concerned about relying on a single supplier. Sem Dilmagani, an analyst at research firm AI Multiple, agrees, suggesting NVIDIA's dominant market position could backfire. Anyone who is spending in the Gen AI world is now lining NVIDIA's pockets. No one is happy about that, except NVIDIA, of course. AMD will officially launch its Instinct M1300 family of data center graphics processing unit GPU accelerator at the event called Advancing AI. A week later, on December 14th, Intel will hold an event called AI Everywhere, which will include the launch of fifth generation of Intel Xeon processors for the data centers and Intel Core Ultra processors for laptops. People say that AMD will be the first company to truly channel NVIDIA in the AI chip market. In the first quarter next year, they will have the only GPU-based accelerator for large language models that competes directly with NVIDIA. Other semiconductor stocks are playing catch up. Cloud service provider Amazon, web service Microsoft, Azure, and Alphabet's Google Cloud have developed their own AI processors that for now are working alongside NVIDIA chips. Startup firms are nipping around the edges of the market. Cerebras Systems, G-Rock, Samba Nova Systems, and NVIDIA was at an all-time high, but now it has pulled back considerably. So that's our news. There's a bullish view of NVIDIA stock. I believe they had an estimate from 625 to 700 a share. So that's a look at NVIDIA. And now let's go look at some issues that I was taking a look at. This is a shoe company. It really moved up yesterday, but now it has pulled back significantly to the 200-day moving average. This is a Swiss shoe firm that Roger Federer is working with. He didn't design the shoe, but he is definitely working with them. You see a lot of people wearing these on the streets. People say they're really comfortable shoes. So we'll see if it can continue its uptrend. It's come back a lot from where it was at 2341. IoT, Internet of Things, Samsara. Their earnings estimates top estimates. They did have a little bit of a pullback today. Looks like they filled the gap. The company, San Francisco-based Samsara, reported profit of 4 cents per share on adjusted basis versus 2-cent loss a year earlier. Revenue rose 40% to 237.5 million. Analysts expected Samsara to record 1 cent profit. Revenue outlook tops views. They say they have achieved an important milestone this quarter as they surpassed 1 billion in ARR in just the 8th year of selling. Current quarter, Samsara said expects revenue of $258 million. At the midpoint of its outlook, IoT stock analysts projected revenue of $250.4. This being a recent IPO, they tend to grow faster, and I definitely have shares in them. And here we have synopsis. I believe we looked at this in the news. It filled the gap today, so maybe it can continue rising. I believe this is a Fremont, California-based company. Pretty big volume on the downdraft today, so that's something to watch out for. Look at Meta. Definitely pulled back today. Was down a little over 3% for the close. Now it's down 1.52, down to its 20-day moving average. We'll see if it can bounce. Got a little further down after hours. Microsoft bounced and was slightly positive after being down earlier. Zscaler pulled slightly back. We'll see if it fills the gap before it tries to move higher. The $200 areas seem to be a selling point. Crowd holdings, unlike Zscaler, is moving up another percent today, and a 134% increase. And Palo Alto's networks continues up another 2%. And let's look at the two biotechs that I've been liking, continue to like. Looks like they tried to push this down to the 200-day moving average, and it bounced back as it moved up 4% today after selling off 3 days in a row. Volume increased 21%. Uber has made quite a move after their double bottom move and breakout. Got a slight pullback to the 10-day moving average where it bounced. Look at its competitor Lyft. Lyft starting to lift off of its 200-day moving average. All the moving averages kind of combined here. It looks like the 10-day, maybe the 20-day are moving up to kind of support this. 1289 would be the breakout. And finally, BLTE is down here at 1253 earlier this year. And look at this move. I believe up to here was a 72% gain. We had them on my show at 22 and then took off to 36, which I guess is about a 50% gain. And then we had a little consolidation, which you expect after a big move like that. Moved up to 40, retreated, I believe, to 37 something, actually 36, 37. And then look at this move today. Like I said earlier, that's not your Aunt Edna buying shares. That is just a massive move up 10%, 83% increase in volume. So there you have it. That's our show for Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. go out there and keep working on your goals and your activities. Remember, we're here to support you. If we can help you make your money work harder for you, that's our goal. So keep checking in with us and feel free to reach out to us if you like to have information about your personal goals for the future. You guys all have a great day, and we'll catch you tomorrow.